Peace, family. It's your brother Marc Lamont Hill. Welcome to the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. So good to see many of you here. It's Saturday night, May 18th, and I didn't expect to see too many people here. You know, I'm wilding out on a Saturday night. You could tell I'm having a wild night because I moved all the way from the table I normally talk to y'all on to the chair that I'm on now. And I want to say for the record, I have not slept 1 minute since the last time I saw y'all 24 hours ago. Your boy is out here grinding. And that's not a complaint. It's just an observation. So if my eyes look crazy, you know why. But I'm gonna get some sleep tonight. Don't worry, y'all. But I expected to see a handful of y'all, and instead we already got solid numbers, man. We got a lot of people out here who either don't have a life just like me, or y'all young people and y'all going outside afterward. Either way, I'm happy to see y'all. I'm happy to talk to y'all. And I'm happy to offer the slight bit of contribution that I might have tonight, which is to examine Israel's war on Gaza. As of today, Israel's war on Gaza has hit day 225. Day 225. And as always, we're going to give you the deep analysis. We're going to give you the critical breakdown. We're going to give you everything that corporate media does not give you. And the reason is because, as I said before, this war on Palestine, this war on the Palestinians, not in Palestine, but on Palestine, this war on Gaza, this genocide of the Palestinian people continues to be prosecuted partially because the world has embraced a narrative of what's going on that is not accurate. And I don't think that's particular to Israel. I think lots of countries have narratives about who they are. They have ideas about who they are. Presidents often advance that narrative of who these people think they are. Prime ministers advance this narrative of who they are. So it's a complicated thing. But if Israel is advancing the narrative that they are simply defending themselves from Hamas's October 7th attack, and the world embraces the narrative that, oh, this is simply a defensive war, and even if Israel is going just a little bit beyond where it should go, it's still a response to a terror attack. It's still a defensive posture they're assuming. And so part of what I want to do, part of what many of us have tried to do, is re-articulate that narrative. In other words, to begin to break down the fact that October 6th was just as crucial. October 6th was just as important. October 6th produced so much suffering, so much misery, so much dislocation, so much dispossession, as did the 5th, the 4th, the 3rd, and so forth. And so we can't prioritize Palestinian misery over Jewish misery, but we also can't prioritize Jewish misery over Palestinian misery. So we have to tell this whole story differently, right? Because if the global community believes that Israel is in the defense, that Israel is simply trying to defend itself, and these crazy liberals are trying to disrupt it, well, then, yeah, it makes it harder to have a global solidarity movement. It makes it harder to animate BDS. It makes it harder to do the things that need to be done. So part of it is re-narrating the story, not just to have some kind of academic precision. It's not just to be able to say, I set the record straight, or I wrote the revisionist revisionist history of X, Y, and Z. But there's a way that if we tell the truth, if we put a spotlight on the misery in the world, if we do the things that we're supposed to do, if we do those things, we might actually be able to leave the world better than we found it. And that's encouraging. That's daunting, but encouraging, right? I mean, I would say that about anything we do. We gotta leave better than we found it. And I think as media, we have a duty to tell the truth. We don't have a duty to go to Gaza and risk our lives because Israel's killing journalists. I don't think we have a duty to put our bodies on the line in this case, but I think what we do have to do is tell the truth. I don't think you can be an American journalist and not tell the truth. See, we got some comments coming in. I don't think you can um, anchor a nightly newscast, not talk about the fact that not one night, for those of you who do nightly news, not one night, not one night have we been able to report that there were no deaths. At best, we can report that the death. At best, we can report that the deaths have slowed down. You know, we had that clip earlier this week where it was like 86 people had died over the course of 24 hours. Now, obviously, the number is slower, but the point is people are dying every single day. I just don't know how American media can't report that. I don't know how you can have a nightly show. I don't care if the show is about poodles. There has to be a way to acknowledge the extraordinary amount of suffering, the extraordinary amount of violence, the extraordinary amount of misery that people are experiencing. But that's neither here nor there. I can't worry about other people's jobs. I can't do what other people should be doing. I can only do what I'm supposed to do, what I'm charged to do. And so for me, the charge is to tell the truth. It's to keep track of Israel's war in Gaza every single day. Yeah, and some other things that I won't say. But let's just say my struggle is a righteous one. It's a principled one. I ain't perfect, but I know that I'm on the right side of history with Israel Palestine, and you know you're on the right history with Israel Palestine. And the world is changing. Things are getting overturned and disrupted and reimagined. The world is not anti-Jewish. The world is not indifferent to Israeli or Jewish suffering. It's simply that now we have a full aerial view of everything, and we can have space to critique. We can have space to analyze. We can have space to transform. Anyway, I want to get to some of the things that have been happening. I don't usually give y'all one of these, but I'm gonna do it today. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second. But I want to start with these numbers because the numbers themselves, they're gaudy and they're disturbing and they're indefensible. And watching people, in particular this government, attempt to justify or defend. Anyway, let's get to the numbers, man. We begin every night with the numbers because it's important that you have hardcore, concrete numbers about what's at stake, about what's being lost. As of today, as of right now, 35,386 people at least, I'll say that number again, 35,386 people at least is my addition, have been killed since October 7th in Gaza. Also, 79,366 wounded in Israeli attacks on Gaza since October 7th. That number also holds. So you got 35,386 people killed. You got another 79,366 wounded in Gaza. When is enough? Right? Isn't that always the fundamental question we ask? What's enough? When have you had enough? When can we say this war is over? When can you say that you have degraded and defeated your opponent? Because where I sit, you're never going to degrade and defeat Hamas. So this is a perpetual war. But I don't know. I don't get paid to think. I shut up and dribble. I'm going to move on for a second. You know what? I'm not going to move on just yet. I'm not going to move on just yet because there's a little bit more that I have to say, a little bit more that I have to do. In addition to those numbers, and of course the number of Israelis stays the same, 1,139 who were killed, and then dozens more held captive. But I want to do more than that. I don't want to just read those numbers to you, although that would be a fine war in Gaza because those lives are so precious. We should spend a whole episode just thinking and looking and talking and connecting, but it's neither here nor there. At least 28 people have been killed and dozens wounded, many of them women and children, after Israel launched air attacks on the Jabalia refugee camp in northern Gaza. Dozens more are buried under the debris. So again, 28 people got killed and dozens more wounded. It's entirely consistent with the numbers I read to you earlier. When you think about how long we've been moving, right? Like 28 killed, dozens wounded. Right now we got 35,000 killed and almost 80,000 wounded. I mean, these numbers aren't, the proportion is just wild. They just continue to decimate Palestinian civil society. They continue to invade camps I mean, it's just, but anyway, of the 28, I don't know if it was the majority, but many of them were women and children. And this is, of course, again, is after Israel launched an air attack on the Jabalia refugee camp in northern Gaza. That's not even counting who's under the debris. Let's talk about Hamas and Israel, because in the north, you've been seeing some real, I don't want to call them stare downs, because it's more than that. But both Hamas and Israel say that their soldiers have inflicted heavy casualties as Israel's ground invasion of northern and southern Gaza intensifies. This is an important moment. If you're watching this for the first time, stay with me. If you hadn't watched, if you heard me before, I probably say this all the time, but it's worth noting. I'm going to say it again. God, it's frustrating. That's all. Let me start with the north. The north seemed to be safer when the invasions first started. People were in the north and they were given a humanitarian corridor to get out. So me and Danny Ayalon were debating the efficacy of that, the legitimacy of that. Like, were people actually given 24 hours? Were they given safe zones? Were they still roof knocking? Like, what was actually happening in practice? And I spoke to a lot of people on the ground who said that they were not given what they were promised. But then the north kind of became a place where, yeah, you'd see some hospitals attacked. You definitely saw dehydration. You definitely heard starvation. But you thought the fight was in the south. You thought that Rafah was the place where people would be scrapping. It would be the place where people just literally wouldn't have enough food, where people were eating not bird seed, but something even worse than bird seed as a holding mechanism. We saw kids die from this in the north. And so it became this idea that, okay, Hamas has been contained in the north. We got them under control. Now we got to go to the south, invade Rafah, and we're done. But there's a couple problems. One, Hamas is trying to hold down the north. Hamas did not just roll over for them in the north. Hamas has said that they're here as part of a resistance project. That they're there to protect historic Palestine, that they are there to defend the Bilad. And so if that is the case, then you're going to see protracted fighting in the north. And remember, Israel does not have the capacity, the reach, or anything else to defeat all of Hamas. That's a quixotic goal. So Hamas is going to be battling Israel for a very, 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 very long time. And they said as much. Right? They said last night that this would be a war of attrition. They know what's about to happen. But it's not just the north. Now the south has the ground invasion. And as of today, 900,000 people have been displaced again, as Palestinians are rushing out of Rafah. Now, I mean, there's damn near the amount, now there's 600,000 people left in Rafah, which is still twice as many as normal. It's still dense, it's still overcrowded. But imagine what it was like when it was 5 times as many people. I mean, like, these aren't livable conditions. These aren't reasonable conditions. These aren't safe conditions. These are torturous, which then makes you say, are they trying to push you into the Sinai? Do they want you to just leave? Is it voluntary deportation or is it self-deportation? Sounds crazy. Hassan Campbell said, Mark, this is why Netanyahu tried to destroy Kanye, because he foreseen that we needed to protect ourselves from those evil people. Man, this brother finds a way to put Kanye into every sentence. Hassan, let me know if you still want to have a conversation, a dialogue, or whatever. I'm happy to do it. All right. Let me move on before we go. Israel's war cabinet member Benny Gantz threatens to quit the government of Benjamin Netanyahu should the prime minister fail to present a post-war plan for Gaza by June 8th. This is getting spicy. If you don't know, Benny Gantz, former defense kind of person, more moderate, center left. He held down a unity government before in Israel. And the last poll that I saw in Israel that had both of them on it was last week. And Benny Gantz had a slight edge, but not the edge you would hope or think. He might be like 5, it's very small in a small place. So, it's easier to make up 5% when the whole place is as big as Jersey. Benny Gantz was also put in the Biden administration and the BB administration to be a moderating force. You understand? You have to understand Benjamin Netanyahu has a Knesset that is drifting to the right. He has a political coalition is drifting to the right. And so I don't know if Netanyahu is really right wing or if he just plays one on TV, but either way, the policies are right wing. So the idea was that Benny Gantz would be a moderating influence on Netanyahu. If Benjamin Netanyahu was planning to run for office, the public has to be scared of what's going to happen if he's not prime minister, or he has to create the conditions for it to happen ahead of time. The way people would be scared not to vote for him is war. But you hear Israelis right now marching in the streets of Tel Aviv, marching near his, crib. People want this over. They want hostages back. They want this thing to stop. It's been 7 months. And Benny Gantz actually represents an option to get them out of that. They don't love Benny Gantz either. I think Netanyahu was like 30 and he was like 35% approval. Wasn't nothing great. But now Benny Gantz knows he has some leverage. Israeli elections are different. They can vote again. They can check the coalition again. Netanyahu has until, I believe, fall of 2026 to call for the elections. So it's just complicated is all I'm saying. I need y'all to hold on for 1 second because I don't know if I told you. I told my other group, I have people who steal food from my DoorDash. So I heard too many people move in near my door right now. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna hold y'all, but I ain't trying to get burnt for the amount of sushi I just bought. Hold on. Oh, alhamdulillah, I didn't get burnt from my delivery for once. Sorry, y'all. This is what live TV is when you know what I mean. What kind of conversation is going on in these comments? Yes, Esther, I am exhausted. Anyway, so Benny Gantz threatening to quit the government is important for a couple of reasons. One, he's the moderating influence, allegedly, and there's nothing moderate about any part of the Israeli government. But the point is, if people think Netanyahu is going too far to the right and then the person in the center leaves, that doesn't help. It also puts a spotlight and reinforces the idea that Netanyahu doesn't have a post-war plan. And let's be honest, Netanyahu does not have a post-war plan. He has a forever war plan. This is the plan. This is literally his plan. So that's that about that. So it'll be interesting to see what the kind of internal struggles produce in terms of policy. But Netanyahu seems to be operating from a very Trump position, which is, I'm going to stay 10 toes down till they tell me I got to go. Anyway, 9 Palestinians. This was 20 minutes ago, y'all, so please understand I don't have all the information yet. But according to my colleagues at Al Jazeera, 9 Palestinians were killed in 2 Israeli attacks on Gaza City. 6 people were killed and others wounded in the bombing of a house in the Dedish neighborhood, which is in eastern Gaza City. I don't know what Dedish. I know what Dedish means, like steps, but 3 people were killed and others wounded in the bombing of a school where people were sheltering in the same neighborhood. Wow. Can you imagine sheltering in a school and then the school get bombed? This is why I think I get so frustrated when I look at some of the numbers, some of the total. When I hear how many wells have been destroyed, how many playgrounds, how many masajid, how many kanisas, like churches, like all of it is like, I don't know how recoverable this thing is. I believe in the will of the Palestinian people. I believe in the will of the Sudanese people. I believe in the will of the Haitian people. I believe in the will of the Congolese people. I believe that anybody with even a little bit of us in them is going to be all right, because we've caught hell for so long. It's not that. There's just something so deeply saddening about watching Gaza be turned into the very thing that they promised and warned that it would be. When I heard in October members of the Israeli Knesset say, "Oh, we're going to turn Gaza into a parking lot. Oh, we're going to blow them back 3 centuries. Oh, we're going to turn it into a new Nekba," it was like, wow, y'all are being unabashed with your wickedness, right? Like unabashed with it. And I don't know. I just don't know what else can be done. I'll just leave it there. I want to shout out a couple people before we go, because some great things have happened here. First of all, let me shout out, is that Oi Ulti? Thank you for this wonderful comment. Thank you for this generous donation. Just thank you. Just thank you, man. Y'all are keeping the lights on right now. Dr. Doran Walker, welcome to the channel. I appreciate you. Who is this? What? How long do you think before the powers that be religiously, if ever, will they take us all down with them? How long do you think before the powers that be religiously, if ever? I'm not sure I understand the question, but if we're talking about Israel, I just don't know if the powers that be are really religious powers at this point. You know, if it were an immigration issue, I'd say sure. You know, but if you want to rewrite that question, because again, it might be me. I don't think I'm not blaming you. I'm just, I don't understand it. I don't always catch things. So beyond Ebony, thank you so much, my sister. Thank you so much. And again, thank you so much. And again, another, but I'm not just hitting the same button, y'all. She keeps sending these. She is dope. Thank you, Beyond Ebony. Ed Lidawi. Oh, Ed Lidawi. You're a Palestinian American son of a refugee here. A fan of immigration selection that you met. Oh, what a time. With Roger Waters, Linda Sarsour, and I can't recall the other speaker's name. I think, who was that? Was Roger? Was it? No, it wasn't North Attica. It was it Mike? No, it wasn't Make That. Who flew with Roger? No, that was Linda. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there was one more person though. But either way, thank you for holding it down, brother. It's been some years, and you're still here. You're still rocking. We're fam now, man. So anyway, I can support y'all. Let me know. Shout out to you. Todd gifted 5 channel memberships. Let me put that up again. 5 channel members. That is so dope, so fly. I'm just grateful when y'all do that, man. You have no idea. Infinite content. I tagged you in a story about Galileo on that. Did you read? No, I didn't see it, but I'll check it out, bro. This idea of, yeah, there's just too many things. Too many things. All right, family. I'm gonna I'm gonna eat my dinner and go to bed. I may do a quick office hours. I do feel like there's a little conversation I want to have, and a little more breaking down. But I am going to go to bed early, get a full night's sleep, and then be back tomorrow night. We got a special office hours, I believe, at 10:30, with Dr. Joshua Myers, about State of Black Studies, and then Monday we back at it. Philly Cat back at it. We back at it with Night School, man. I hope y'all enjoy Night School. It is really growing by leaps and bounds. The number of viewers, the technology, that we're just working really hard. So just please know we're working really hard. Whatever you give us, however you support us financially, or if you support us just by watching the ads, or if you support us by spreading the word, all of it has mattered. And so I'm grateful for y'all, man. Grateful to y'all. I'm gonna set up for office hours, which will probably start at 11:15. I was trying to see if this, because I said I would have some conversations with y'all. Let me see. Mel 1 2 3. Thank you. You're right. I do need to rest. Thank you. Sorry, I'm looking through this. I'm looking to see if I offered the brother Hassan Campbell and I spaced the dialogue. I don't think he wants to do it. You have bags under your eyes, Dr. Hill. Damn, y'all hard on him, bro. Sorry. I'm over here trying to write a book, trying to build a business, trying to run a YouTube channel. Got a 2-year-old that wakes up at the time you don't want him to, which is just about any time. At one overnight, yeah, I'm sure my eyes look baggy. I think we should be. I feel lucky. It's the only thing that doesn't look crazy. Hassan, I don't. I offered you an opportunity to come on. That way, you don't have to be like going back and forth with people in the comments, because a lot of them and not many of you. So instead of that, just build. We could just build. But if you don't want to, it's cool. I definitely didn't do that on purpose. I hit the wrong button, but please know it needed to be done. I'm gonna see y'all later. Peace.